Today we are going to talk about exploring accumulations of change, which is the topic of the videos you watched on AP Classroom. It is chapter 4 in our textbook, but not necessarily a certain section in our textbook. We are going to interpret the meaning of areas associated with the graph of a rate of change in context. So if you had any questions from the videos, let me know. First example, the graph of f prime, which is the derivative of the function f, is shown to the left. F of 0 equals 0, that's one thing we know. And f prime of 0 is 1, and you can see that there because that's the graph of f prime. So f prime of 0 is 1. Okay, but we know f of 0 is 0, which is the original function. Which of the following must be true? So these are true-false questions basically. You do true-false for each one, and then you look down below and see which one is the one that must be true. Okay, so not possibly true, but must be true. So these are all dealing with the original function f, which we cannot just look at the graph and see that. We need f of 0, f of 1, f of 2, and f of 3. So those are the ones we're going to compare. At f of 0, we know that equals 0. But what happens between 0 and 1? If you look at the graph of f prime, between 0 and 1, f prime is above the x-axis, so it's positive. Well, what does that mean about f? It means f is increasing. So if we're going to make a little graph of f, we know the graph of f starts at 0, 0, and then it's going to increase until it gets to 1. And then at 1, we have a horizontal tangent line at 1, because the graph of f prime equals 0. And then between 1 and 2, which is our next horizontal tangent line, because it's the next place that f prime equals 0, between 1 and 2, the graph of f prime is still above 0. It's above the x-axis, so it's positive. So we know f is increasing again. So our graph of f flattens out at 1, but then increases again after 1. So it's got a horizontal tangent line at 1, and then goes up to 2, and then it's got another horizontal tangent line at 2. Whoops. And then I don't know what happens after that. Let's check. Between 2 and whatever, the graph is below the x-axis for f prime. So if f prime is negative, that means f is decreasing. So we know our function decreases after 2. Oops, it's not going to curve back up as far as we know. So it's just going to start decreasing. But we don't know what rate it's decreasing. It might decrease really slowly. It might decrease more like this, or it might decrease really fast like that. We don't know the rate that it's decreasing. All right, so we're ready to talk true-false. F of 0 greater than f of 1. Well, f of 0 is here, and we know the graph increased after that, so f of 1 is actually higher. So we know that's false. F of 0 is not higher than f of 1. Is f of 2 higher than f of 1? Yeah, that's got to be true because we know the graph increased from 1 to 2. Is f of 1 higher than f of 3? We don't really know where f of 3 is. We know f of 1 is higher than 0 and lower than 2, but we don't know where 3 is, so we're not sure. It could possibly be higher. F of 1 could be higher than f of 3 if this graph decreases really fast, but if this graph decreases slowly, then f of 3 might still be higher than f of 1. So that one we don't know, that must be true. So the only one we know that must be true is number 2, so our answer is B, 2 only. The next example, a particle P moves along a straight path with a constant velocity of 2 feet per second. The graph of the velocity is given to the left. What's the total distance the particle traveled? So what you learned in your video is that if this is time and this is velocity, we know distance equals rate times time. So the total distance should equal the velocity times time, how fast the thing is going times the time. But rate, remember, is more like speed. So we should think about absolute value of velocity. So only positive values. If anything's below the x-axis, we're going to make it positive. But We won't have to deal with that today. So all we're going to do is do time times velocity, which basically is area, right? You learned that in the video. It's the area. This will be the total distance here. Time times velocity. So 2 times 2. So that distance should be 4. And they didn't give us units, so we don't know. Oh, it's feet. Yep, they did give us units here. All right, so it's 4 feet is how far this particle moved. Total distance traveled. The new pop music group sensation, Sir Isaac and the Newtones, have released their latest single on all the major music streaming services. During its first 10 weeks of release, the rate of the number of downloads per week in thousands of units is modeled by the function d of t, whose graph is shown to the right. How many total downloads were purchased during the 10-week period? So if you multiply the rate that they're downloaded times the time or number of weeks, that will equal the total number of downloads. So we have to multiply this 0 to 10 times the height, but it's not a nice shape like the other one was just a rectangle, right? But we could break it up into rectangles because basically we're just finding the area. So we could do like these shapes. You can break it up into triangles and rectangles. So this first rectangle is 4 by 3, so that's 12. This little guy down here has an area of 2 by 1. This one is 4 by 1. And then we've got some triangles. This triangle, 1/2 base times height. The base is 2 and the height is 2, so that has an area of 2. This triangle here has a base of 4, 1/2 base times height, and the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the area of that is 1/2 times 4 is 2, 2 times 7 is 14. So we add them all up. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 14. So that is 26, 30, 34. 34 in thousands, so 34,000 downloads. Shouldn't have an equal sign there if I'm going to add 1,000 to it. Let's visit a similar situation like we had back in example 2, where we're talking about a particle moving along a path with the velocity graph given, but this velocity graph is not a straight line. So how would you go about finding the total distance the particle traveled from 0 to 2 seconds? We need this area, but it's not a nice region. So what we're going to do today is just approximate the area, but tomorrow we're going to learn a way to approximate it more accurately. So today we're just going to count up boxes. So there's this, the area of this box is 1, and this one is 1, and then this one is almost 1. But like if you take this little piece and you stick it in here, that will make a full box, and then we've got about 1/2. So 1, 2, 3 1/2. So which one is closest to 3 1/2? So that's an approximation. But tomorrow we'll talk about getting a more detailed approximation. So your homework is on Schoology. You get 2 attempts to get the best score you possibly can. There are 6 questions, and your grade will be based on your accuracy out of 3 points. Have a great day. If you haven't watched the videos from AP Classroom, you need to watch them, write down all the examples, write down the key concepts, because in the Schoology assignment you will be uploading your notes from AP Classroom. Oops. From those AP Classroom videos that you watched. All right, now I'm done. Have a good day.